Guys, this is your section 2 answer key. So we're looking at section 2 of the test. That means you should be working on section 2 remediation now. Section 2 is pretty short. It was just this matching section. So we want to match up. So which velocity graph from column B goes with each graph from column A. So there's two things to focus on here, and this is what your remediation is going to have you do as well. Okay, so I want to know, is the velocity positive or negative? And then I also want to know speeding up or slowing down. Okay, so for each one, I'm going to answer those questions, positive or negative, speeding up or slowing down. Okay, let's do all the positives and negatives first, because that's super easy, okay? So this graph right here, it's going downhill, so it's negative. This one is going uphill, so it's positive. This one's going downhill, so it's negative. This one's going uphill, so it's positive. So again, uphill tells me positive, downhill tells me negative. So next I want to know speeding up or slowing down. Now, to tell speeding up or slowing down, I have to focus on the slope, okay? So if it's getting steeper, that means it's speeding up. If it's getting flatter, it's slowing down. So we can use the little guy on this, okay? So let's look at my little guy. He starts off pretty steep. By the bottom, it's a lot flatter, so that means slowing down. Okay? This one, he starts off pretty flat. He ends up pretty steep, so that means I'm speeding up. This one, he starts off pretty flat. He ends up pretty steep. So again, I'm speeding up. This one, he starts off pretty steep. He ends up pretty flat. So that means I'm slowing down. Okay, so I need to take that information now and match it to the velocity versus time graphs. Okay, so first off, negative means below the line. Positive means above the line. So that makes it a really easy matching. So like if I'm looking for this one, I know that I should only be looking for the graphs that are below the line because it's negative. So that means it could be this one, or it could be, oops, not that one, this one. Okay, so both of those are below the line. The big difference being that this one is going away from the center line. This one is going towards the center line. Okay, so what we need to see is this is slowing down. Slowing down means you should be going towards the center line. So remember that center line, guys, that's 0. Okay, so here, watch this, okay? So if that's 0, if I'm going closer to 0, all right, closer to 0 is slower, farther away from 0 is faster, okay? So for this one, I'm looking for below the line and closer to 0, and that would be this one. All right, so here's what I'll do. I'll do like this. We'll connect them, okay? So this one goes there, goes to that one. Okay, so like those two are connected. Ooh, that's still pretty thick. That's okay. That's good. All right. Now, this next one, positive, so above the line, speeding up means getting farther away from 0. Okay, so that one's above the line, but it's getting closer to 0. That one's below the line. That doesn't work. That one's below the line. It doesn't work. Here's the one. Okay, so this one is above the line, so it's positive, and it's getting farther away from 0, so it's speeding up. All right, so that means this one, actually, I don't like how I'm doing that. Let's erase that. Let's erase that. Let's erase that. All right, so this was C. So C goes there. All right. This one is D. So D goes there. All right. Now, when we get down here, negative and speeding up means it should be below the line. There we go. Below the line and getting farther away from 0. So this is B. B goes with this one. And then finally, positive and slowing down. So I'm looking for above the line and going closer to 0. So there it is. Above the line, but getting closer to 0. So that's A. And that's A. Okay? So those are your correct answers for section 2.